Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JP the Outlaw, here to give you my review for Monday Night Raw. Of course, the voice that makes some voice, your favorite color commentator, here to do this damn thing the only way I know how to. And that's giving you nothing but the solids and the concrete results for Monday Night Raw and so on and so forth. Let's get into this stuff, guys. Let's do it like 1999. They kick off the show with Seth Rollins after winning the Royal Rumble from last night. He's amped up all last night. Well, one, the Royal Rumble did not have the WrestleMania sign, so the graphic, and I think that was the reason why he stood in the ring so long, because the graphic wasn't up, and he was waiting for his cue to point to the graphic. But that's all changed. They have the sign up there tonight on Monday Night Raw, so he had the opportunity to actually point to the sign. Of course, he hyped this up. Seth Rollins doing his thing here, pretty much, taking a bow, if you will, for winning the Royal Rumble. Now, out comes Triple H saying, "I've always believed in you. I knew you were the one guy that was going to be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar and take the WWE to the next level." He's rudely interrupted by Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose comes out and said, "I always believed in you. We traveled those roads together. We stood side by side to fight this fucking guy," which would be Triple H. Triple H rebuttal. You're not talking about the same brother that you turned your back on the same night your other brother found out that he was fighting leukemia again. I thought this was a great back and forth between all three men here. And, Triple H laying it all out there, saying that, you got to make a decision tonight. Now we need to know who's going to be the guy you're going to be fighting at WrestleMania. You got all the way into the end of the night. Seth Rollins has this dazed, lost, and confused look on his face. Also, Triple H let us know that Ronda Rousey, freaking Brock Lesnar would be there. Not only Brock Lesnar would be there, Daniel Bryan would be there to pretty much confront their would-be challenger in Seth Rollins. They move on. They move on from this. Dean Ambrose starts asking for a match, a solid one-on-one with Seth Rollins. Triple H is like, whatever. He walks off. And as he's walking off, he said, "Well, what do you got to ask your father-in-law for permission?" And, the crowd feeds into this. They start screaming out, "Yes, he does," so on and so forth. That prompts a match. Like I said, I love this open here. That match, the match prompt between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Basic Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins match. Nothing really to ride home about here. They gave these guys some decent time. Ambrose, through all of this, looked fired up. Looked like he was ready to take fucking Dean's fucking head off with the curb stomp at the end of it. But we're not there yet. He did a nice Super Cena through the ropes onto, I call it a Super Cena. It was really a freaking suicide dive. Through the ropes, he comes out, dragged Dean Ambrose into the ring, hits the Falcon Arrow onto Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose, of course, kicks out. It was a lot of back and forth between the two. A better Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins match than I would have to compare to, let's say, freaking TLC. Way better than TLC. I felt like TLC didn't ever get out the gate because they started the match with a rest hold. This match here seemed like these two guys was willing to rip each other's heads off. So, that very good. I like how they opened the show here. It was after this match. Dean Ambrose is distraught inside the ring. He's sitting up there upset, rubbing his head, trying to figure out what's his next move. Out comes, it goes to commercial break. Out comes Nia Jax. As soon as you come off a commercial break to pretty much get her match started, which is a number one contendership match, for the, not a number one contendership match, it's a qualifying match, forgive me, for the first ever women's tag team match, which will be held inside of the Elimination Chamber. I don't know how the hell they're going to do this one, but they're trying it. So let's see where it goes. WWE always has some crazy shit to do. Let's pair all these women up, see what tag teams stick and what tag teams don't. If I had to place a solid bet, it'd probably be Nia Jax and Tamina winning this damn thing. But before all that went down, Dean Ambrose has this moment in the ring where he's sitting in the chair, stone cold style, and I'm thinking, shit, Dean Ambrose is getting ready to quit. And lo and behold, Nia Jax comes out. That could have been set up that way in kayfabe. I've seen a lot of reports today based off of just that little 5-second interlude on Dean Ambrose. I've seen 5 reasons on why Dean Ambrose should go to AEW. And I think we're slow down. You're shooting the gun too fast. We don't know if Dean Ambrose is leaving the WWE or if Dean Ambrose is fed up with the WWE shit. And this is just him voicing his opinion. They gave that same opportunity to a CM Punk, and that's how you got the famous pipe bomb. Anyway, this qualifying match between Nia Jax and Tamina, it was a pretty decent match. It worked out slow. It was a slow, methodical pace because, of course, none of these women can work in the ring outside of Mickie James. So you had Nia Jax go up against Mickie James, and I believe it was Nia Jax and Tamina versus Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. Of course, Nia Jax and Tamina picks up the win here. Moving on. You get a backstage promo by Kurt Angle saying that he think he still has a solid run in him, was pretty much prompts a match between him and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, the last time we seen Baron Corbin, I believe, was in the Rumble. And you guys know my thoughts and opinion if I so happen to put that review up. It'd be my 5th time recording that review. So, freshening up here. Anyway, shit you guys don't need to know, but I'm putting it out there anyway. Frustration, fellas and gents and ladies. Frustration. Anyway, Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin, a decent match. I think Kurt Angle should not be wrestling anymore. He's damn near 40. Baron Corbin needs an official in-ring outfit or uniform, if you want to say that. Give him some fucking tactical pants and a goddamn button. Let him keep the button up. Just make it look like he's not getting ready to go to Costco's and ask for copies. Okay? Pretty decent here. Corbin picks up the win against Kurt Angle. I guess you're building Baron Corbin here. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame for TNA and the WWE, I believe. So I just don't understand why you have him losing a match here to a scrub like Baron Corbin. It makes no fucking sense. It really brings a damper on his career, if you ask me. Moving on. Finn Balor addresses the WWE Universe, and he talks about his hardship and how hard the loss he took to Brock Lesnar was, and the beatdown that insisted after the Brock Lesnar thing. Well, he was interrupted by the Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley and his associate, freaking Lio Rush. Lio Rush comes out and tells Finn Balor he's not worth it, and so on and so forth. This aggravates Finn Balor. Finn Balor responds with a rebuttal of, "You only lasted 12 seconds in the Royal Rumble." That gets Bobby Lashley mad, and he pretty much beats the shit out of Finn Balor. As the shit starts to break down in the middle of the ring, Lashley and Rush walk away pretty much with all the heat here. Would I have done things differently moving on? I guess if you're running a underdog program with Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley, and if this is where you see Finn Balor as a mid-card, cool, let him have that title for a little while until we get out of WrestleMania season. But clearly I wouldn't give Finn Balor the title. Matter of fact, I would probably make him go 3 and out against Bobby Lashley to really get some prestige and some recognition behind Bobby Lashley's title reign. If you're not going to go 3 and out and you're going to give a star program with Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley, please let Finn at some point in time come out on top and look strong, because again, you go from Sunday to Monday with nothing but Finn Balor beatdowns and literally no retaliation from Finn Balor. So right now, Finn Balor, if you thought he looked weak at the Rumble, he looks even weaker now, getting beaten down by Bobby Lashley. Just saying. Bobby Lashley months ago, what was he doing? I'll tell you what he was doing. He was bringing out his three sisters that was males, cross-dressing. And they tried to throw it off on TV as actual women. And this day and age, and social media and whatever have you, this shit should be wrong, but clearly, we bitch about the wrong things, am I right? You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. You have Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder inside of a tag team match against the Revival. The Revival picks up the win here. A decent outing for the former Edgehead guys. And I think it's only a matter of time until you hear Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins picking up wins on WWE TV. I wouldn't mind you moving these guys to SmackDown and giving them a solid run over there. Lord knows they can feud or beef with the Colognes or somebody. Remember the Colognes? Right. Anyway. Like I said, this is pretty much a build of their redemption story. These guys are coming back from pretty much taking losses nonstop within Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins is, I think his match loss record is like 219 or something like that. And Zack Ryder's coming in trying to give him a helping hand. And, before he decides to be a referee or just leave wrestling altogether, let's try to turn this bus around, okay? This small feud, rivalry, or whatever you would like to call it, that the Revival and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder are having, it's good things. I think the Revival needed a win. Okay, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder haven't even been on TV, so they can take a loss here, even though Kurt Hawkins' record is horrible. But I think the upset here, you had these guys win the tag team championship in like a 4-way tag team title match. That really wasn't supposed to lead to anything, but you get a big pop from these guys picking up the title on a, let's say, dusty finish on a quick roll-up, I'm throwing a lot of the dusty finish out there. I was just watching NWA 83, if you guys seen that nationally. I was just watching that the other day. I remember my pop telling me this is one of the most brutal pay-per-views he's ever seen in his life, and it pretty much was. Motherfuckers was using goddamn screwdrivers and shit and jamming them in the cats' heads. So, if you're into that, you don't have to be into brutality. That's why they made ECW. If you want to watch ECW, you can watch WWE and be bored to death for 3 hours, or you can watch an hour of ECW and enjoy yourself. My opinion. We have an in-ring segment with Elias. Elias is pretty much doing his whole spiel. I think at some point in time they turned Elias heel. I'm not sure. Out comes Double J, Jeff Jarrett. And Jeff Jarrett even had the fucking audacity to bring out Road Dogg, the Road Dogg Jesse James to help him out here. Back in the day, he used to be Jeff Jarrett's, pretty much his lackey or his roadie. And that's where the Road Dogg came from before he joined up with Mr. Ass and became the New Age Outlaws. Yeah. Now, Billy Gunn, his name was Mr. Ass. I'm going back into the time machine here, kids. If you don't remember this, it wasn't that far away. And if you weren't born at this time, go back and look at wrestling when it was a good. Okay? Take just a step into that time machine. The DeLorean is what I'm calling. Pretty much a solid segment here. Nothing really to ride home about. They come out, crowd pops crazy for fucking Road Dogg doing his whole old skit with Jeff Jarrett and whatever have you. They sing their rendition of With My Baby. So, again, if you're from the country, you might like this song, you might not like this song, so whatever have you may have you. Like I said, I don't know what you do from here with this whole Elias Hill turn. Pretty much this was the same cool moment that you got on Sunday. They figured they'll give it to the crowd for free on Monday, just a little bit watered down. It could be good or bad depending on how you feel about it. If you like Jeff Jarrett and what he has to offer and bring to the table, then good, you might like this. If you want them to do something better with an Elias, then you won't like this. If you don't understand what Elias' character actually is, heel or babyface, then again you won't like this segment at all. Sarcasm, by the way, in case you didn't pick up on that. We have our second women's tag team qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. And you have just the odd pairing of Dana Brooke and Natalya versus the Riot Squad, Liv Morgan and Sonya Logan. Okay? All these women outside of Natalya, I believe, are former NXT. I think Dana Brooke needs to go back. This match was pretty much a botch fest, if you have to ask me. Anything with Dana Brooke is a botch fest, for the most part. It was a lovely sharpshooter from Liv Morgan here, and pretty much onto Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke had to break it up, had her partner break this hold up, and of course Liv Morgan would score the upset here, the upset victory to move on to pretty much pretty much go on to challenge for the first ever women's tag team championships in the modern era in the WWE. They had some back in the 80s. Natalya gets furious and walks out on Dana Brooke. Who wouldn't? Dana Brooke, I just don't understand. I don't understand why she's still employed with the WWE. I mean, I guess you don't want to let any talent go, but I feel as though Dana Brooke is either she needs another run in NXT or she needs to take some time off and really practice her craft. And, that's just a critique on my behalf. You're hurting my eyes with the moves that you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do, but you're not doing a goddamn thing now. And I think they might be building towards a feud with Natalya and Dana Brooke. Please don't go that way. I don't think people in the TV land need to see that shit. We have the face-to-face with Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey now. Ronda here, she touches on her match with Sasha Banks, and I would have loved to see Sasha Banks come out at some point in time. But, she touches on her match here. And right before her match with Bayley, okay, right before her match with Bayley, she touches on Sasha Banks and how much it took out of her to fight a Sasha Banks and really pick up that win last night, which was okay. All right, I see what you're doing here with the 4 horsewomen, whatever. So again, Bayley comes out to confront Ronda Rousey and challenge for the women's championship on Monday Night Raw. When she did that, I'm like, okay, Bayley, you're wasting Bayley. One, Bayley should be she should get a pay-per-view spot just as well as Sasha did. I think Sasha should be feuding with a Becky Lynch, and she should be feuding with a Becky Lynch on her way to the Royal Rumble. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to go at each other multiple times before they get there. I think a Charlotte, a Becky, and a fucking Sasha Banks, you throw those 2 women in there to eat up a little bit of that time frame. Because you can always stop the feud 6 weeks before you got to go into WrestleMania. Because WrestleMania, I believe, is 3 months away from now. So you have time. I think you're wasting a Bayley feud with Ronda Rousey, even though we know why these people came here to see the confrontation between Rousey and Becky Lynch. But again, I can't stress enough, I'm into the attitude of building superstars. If you're going to build a superstar, who better than Bayley, the woman equivalent to John Cena, okay? If they book her right, you be selling a shitload of just give me a hug t-shirts, or whatever the fuck her hug t-shirt said. I think it just said hug, I'm not sure. But, yeah, just Yeah, they could be selling these inflatable waving arm people Bayley used to have come out when she came out. So, just so much more you can do with the women of wrestling here, with the women of Monday Night Raw, before you go into this feud with Bayley. Decent match here between Bayley and Ronda Rousey. Of course, Bayley showed her ass here, and clearly it was the better wrestler, out wrestling Ronda at every turn. Ronda, like I said before, and I'll say it again, she can sell her ass off. She needs to work on her in-ring work, and she needs to pick one facial feature. You can't be happy, sad, and scared all at the same fucking time, Ronda. Put it together. Put it the fuck together, Ronda. God damn. Like I said, the Bayley brought her to a great match on Monday Night Raw, and I really think this is what you needed to for people to solidly get behind a Bayley. Okay, to start mentioning her name again in a different light. Put her back on TV. Let's get her some solid programming. Yeah, Ronda, the face-off between Ronda and Becky Lynch. Let's talk about it. Basically, everything you got, everything you was going to get, regardless. Ronda gives her overly scripted promo. Becky Lynch comes out there sounding all natural, and it comes off a little weird. Okay, because like I said, Ronda goes on to say, she'll be ready for a Becky Lynch, and I'll do to you what I've done to every woman that stepped to me in this ring. I've faced so many versions of a Becky Lynch. It's unbelievable. Like, people that dislike me for they not even knowing who I am, they just dislike me. I felt like this was that Revenge of the Nerds moment where fucking Becky Lynch was like, the reason why I dislike you is because you were born. But, she didn't say all that. She went to say that the reason why she dislikes a Ronda Rousey is because she hasn't earned anything. And, Becky Lynch has worked her ass off, and it's going to be even sweeter when she takes the title off of Ronda Rousey. I thought this was a great segment here, and even a better match leading into an even better segment. This was fantastic. It was spontaneous. You did not know it was going to happen, especially with Triple H saying that she was going to announce the person that she would be fighting next week on SmackDown. This week on SmackDown Live, which would be tonight. I thought this was a great promo. I wish they would do more stuff like this in the WWE, but you don't have a Royal Rumble every day, so this is probably one and done here, okay? You got the match between Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is a fucking beast. I wish they would have went with him. I think that would have been something fresh, something brand new to go with. You can still do McIntyre and Seth Rollins. I think these two guys put on a great match as far as Seth Rollins and McIntyre. Braun Strowman, what the fuck do you want me to say about Braun? He's on the tail end of his run. There's nothing else you can break with Braun Strowman unless if he's going to start, like, grabbing people by the head and squishing their fucking brains in their skull. But other than that, there's nothing else you can do with Braun. Nothing else you can do. First of all, that promo shit really fucked him up. Whatever push they thought was in line for him, clearly they went to the drawing board. That's why you have Seth Rollins going to go take the title off of Brock Lesnar here at the next WrestleMania 35. Yes. They shot a video package before this match showing how they got Braun out of here. And I remember bits and pieces. I remember them attacking Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre. I clearly remember that. I don't remember him getting injured, but I do remember him being off of TV for a while. And I remember them in kayfabe saying that he had an injury. But again, the injury wasn't that bad. If the next day that you're back, you're overturning a goddamn fucking limo. So it couldn't have been an injury, right? They highlighted on this a little bit. The match itself, pretty decent. Like I said, a big man match, and they do big man shit. Of course, fucking clothesline, thrown into the barricade, so forth, so on and so forth. Hit with the steel chairs. Drew McIntyre hit Braun Strowman with the chair. Yeah, a bunch of fuckery going on, of course. Out comes Baron Corbin because for whatever fucking reason, he's still feuding with goddamn Braun Strowman. Still upset that Braun lost his job. I mean, I guess lost his job title as fucking GM of Monday Night Raw. Did Baron Corbin, and Braun was the reason why he lost that job title. And you know, not for nothing. I don't too much care for this feud. It gives these guys something to do, yes, but you could have done something else. If booked correctly with Braun Strowman, we wouldn't have this problem that you have now. Just throwing it out there. Seth Rollins makes his announcement that he will be challenging Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 35. Out comes the advocate, Paul Heyman, on the behalf of his client, so on and so forth, blah, 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 you know. They get into a light scuffle. Dean Ambrose gets the better of Brock Lesnar. Jesus Christ. Brock Lesnar. One person in the crowd was chanting for him to go up against Daniel Bryan, which just wasn't going to fucking happen. I think that would have been a mistake. Seth Rollins get beat down by the Beast. Brock Lesnar goes off the air looking strong. And this is pretty much how they close out the show. This reminds me of right before WrestleMania 31, where Brock Lesnar came on to the scene, basically came into the WWE. He's riding high off of eliminating The Undertaker. And pretty much being the first person to beat The Undertaker was Brock Lesnar. And he's riding high off of this, and they put him into a slight feud with Roman Reigns. The Monday before they went to WrestleMania, he had a match on Monday Night Raw with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, at the time, was the Money in the Bank title holder. And just verbatim, move for move, this is what this looks like to me. So, had a brief flashback, like, damn, did I watch this match already? I feel as though they can build on this feud. Very two athletically gifted talents, as far as Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar. Jesus fucking Christ, too many B's. Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins will be a great match. I think it'll probably be one of his better big man matches, but I'm curious to see if they do it or if they don't do it. They should pull the trigger on him and AJ Styles. I think that should be the feud leading up to 2020. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal Championship on Monday Night Raw. And you're going to have to move some shit around. You have to start preparing yourself for life after Brock Lesnar. And I don't know if Brock Lesnar is going to be around for much longer, given that the UFC is calling his name. Now, yeah, did he just sign a deal with the WWE? Yes, he just signed a deal last year. I think his last, the Crown Jewel match, he signed an extension. And a lot of it is just handshakes. So you don't know what's his real end date. It's normally around WrestleMania. We'll see where it goes. You know, do I think Brock Lesnar is leaving the company? No. Do I want them to do the right thing and put the title on Seth? Yes. Because it's about time that needs to happen. I'm JP the Outlaw. I'm getting out of here. I have 2 more shows to record. So, I will talk to you guys when I talk to you guys. Just remember that JP the Outlaw believes in you guys. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Wrestling Amino, and Twitter. And if you do have time, please check out the Royal Rumble review, which will be going up right after this one. So please check that out when you get some time. I'm JP the Outlaw. I'm getting out of here. Peace. My man Charles sending me a goddamn something on it.